This is the story of what people can do on New Year with new hope, new love, and new existence of someone they never expected. The technicians carefully open the ball that will be raised on New Year's Eve. The ball is the main object tonight, a big event that is escorted by a lot of police and properly prepared. The whole channel is reporting on this event. Everyone from all over the world is there for this event. Claire, the vice president of Times Square Alliance, the big event we talked about. She arrives immediately to be interviewed by a reporter about the program she is handling. The reporter she expects from one of the TV programs, but it isn't.
For radio.
Ingrid gets off the bus staring at a piece of paper on which she listed something she had been thinking about for a whole year. She's just an office worker who's starting the day quietly bad. She is almost hit by a car, making her fall onto a pile of garbage and becomes the attention of other pedestrians. This is Paul, cheerful and flirtatious packet delivery boy. He greets all the women he meets in a friendly way. A couple has recently arrived for a pregnancy checkup, James and Grace. Another couple, Griffin and Tess, have been sitting in the hospital's waiting room. Grace and Tess have the same pregnancy age. Tess asks about the money that Grace had talked about. While filling out the checkup registration, Grace tells that whoever gives birth to the first baby in the new year will get a prize money of $25,000. Tess and Griffin seem interested in the prize too, so James tries to underestimate the amount of the prize. Randy, a comic book illustrator, gets up from the couch after he's disturbed by a buzz in the hallway of his apartment. When he checks it out, his neighbors have just decorated the hallway with New Year things. Randy's phone rings. It's Paul, his best friend. Paul is planning to take Randy out at midnight on New Year's Eve, but Randy flatly refuses because he wants to spend the day off in his apartment. Paul insists on taking him out with an offer that Randy won't be able to pass up. Randy isn't really interested. He is busy destroying the New Year's decorations that are distracting his eyes. Sam attends the wedding blessing of a poor couple, Rory and Trish, in a village church. Sam rushes back to the city after congratulating his friends. He is busy and has to return to make a speech at the annual party his parents are hosting. Before Sam actually leaves, Trish asks about the woman he met last year. Sam says it was a long time and he's done with that woman. Laura, the CEO of catering company, steps out of the truck carrying the ingredients. She greets Sunil. One of her chefs asks him where Ava, her other chef, is. Sunil says Ava is walking around so she'll be able to meet the celebrities around the building. Laura agrees because it's a popular New Year party and many of celebrities attend. Laura, busy giving instructions in the kitchen, communicates via walkie-talkie with Abba, who tells her about Jensen with enthusiasm. But Jensen is there, greeting Laura, to which Laura replies with a slap. Ingrid sits in her desk chair staring at the same paper, which she quickly folds when Paul brings her a letter. Ingrid opens the letter, which contains 4 invitations to a masked party. Paul looks at it and starts talking to her excitedly about the party. The masker party was like Facebook put in the real world, he says. Everyone wants to go there because there's lots of great food and music. Before he could offer anything interesting in exchange for the tickets, Ingrid quickly handed him the tickets so that he leaves quickly. Haley makes small talk with her boyfriend Seth. They promise to spend New Year's Eve together on 54th Street while watching the ball go up. Her friends start teasing her about a New Year's kiss plan, but all plans will fall through if Haley's mom doesn't let her go. Haley's mom, a workaholic woman who worked as a costume designer named Kim. In the remaining time before the turn of the year, she was busy making sure the dancers' costumes were okay. The dancer asks her about her New Year's dress. Kim tells her it's just a dress she made on a whim. The dancer convinces her to wear it tonight and have fun, but Kim plans to spend time with Haley. Sam's car crashes because of the stupid GPS on the way home from the village. He is okay, but the car isn't. Claire looks tense, preparing for the New Year's event since the bus generator. Then Claire says hello to Brendan, her close friend and local police chief. Claire thanks him for willing to spend her New Year's Day on duty at the event rather than with his family. Claire says she's not sure the event will go smoothly, but Brendan assures her that it will. Jensen is still trying to talk to Laura. Jensen is confused because he has tried so many ways, but Laura never gives him a chance. Another slap in the face for Jensen. For Laura, the night Jensen left her was the end of their relationship. Ingrid tries to find a reason to stay in the company by asking her arbitrary boss, Mr. Cox, for a year-end bonus. But Mr. Cox does not approve of her 2-week leave, making her fed up and finally decides to quit her job, even though Mr. Cox does not take her decision seriously. Stan, a middle-aged man, is dying. He doesn't want chemotherapy, he doesn't want radiation, but he does want one thing: to watch the ball drop on New Year's Eve. Stan says it's his last wish, but the doctor won't allow it because patients aren't allowed to go upstairs, especially with the cold weather. Me, the nurse who's taking care of Stan, asked about the progress of his treatment. The doctor reports that Stan still refuses to take action and tells her to either persuade him to eat or contact his relatives. Randy is about to go downstairs to dispose of the decorations he broke while sending a voicemail on his phone. Not caring about Elise's yelling at him to wait for her to get to the elevator, Randy quickly shuts the fence. But Elise successfully stops him and gets into the elevator with him. Elise is apartment neighbor and also is a support singer. Just a few seconds into the elevator disturbances. Elise panics because she has to go to work immediately. She tries to call the staff, but there is no signal. Griffin and Tess persuade Nurse Mindy, who is checking Tess' pregnancy, to work together to win the prize. Nurse Mindy doesn't want to at first as it's New Year's Eve, but Griffin offers a 70-30 split and Nurse Mindy agrees. On the way from the busway station, Haley tells Kim about her plans to watch the ball drop at midnight. But Kim says she's not going anywhere tonight. Haley explains that Kim can stay home because she's going with Seth and her friends in history class. Haley assures Kim that she'll go straight home afterwards. No drugs and no drinks. But Kim was uncomfortable with Haley wandering around Times Square alone. Haley is angry and disappointed. She's 15 years old, but her mom doesn't trust her. It is still early afternoon, but people have gathered around Times Square. Claire and her coworkers go upstairs to check the ball. When she reaches the rooftop, reporters are waiting for her. Claire explains that the ball drop tradition has existed since 1907 with 125-watt bowlines. Then she turned on the ball, announcing that it would be up until 11:59 p.m., then down after the countdown. It's an unlucky day for Sam. His car needs to be towed, and the towing guy, Harley, isn't able to get his car to the lot or take his car straight to New York. Sam tries to explain that he has to attend an important event tonight. Harley says he also has an important event tonight with his girlfriend. After Ingrid has quit her job, she calls the company Paul works for. Ingrid says she has a job for Paul, which is to make her wishes come true before midnight in exchange for 4 tickets to Paul's dream masked party. Without thinking, Paul agrees. Ingrid quickly hands over the paper, letting Paul read all the wish she writes. Paul says it's too impossible for him to make it happen overnight. Ingrid insists that he can.
Use your imagination.
With his Vespa, Paul tries to make Ingrid's wishes come true. When Ava comes to bring Jensen a snack, Jensen tries to ask her to convince Laura. Jensen explains the situation. He was wrong for leaving Laura after he proposed to her by himself. Ava was about to give him some advice, but Laura catches them in the middle. After Ava leaves them, Laura offers Jensen a truce. Then truce. Ingrid and Paul couldn't have eaten there without booking it first, so they eat in front of the restaurant with coffee and sandwiches. Fulfilling Ingrid's second wish, breakfast in the restaurant she wants to visit. Checked. Next, Paul takes Ingrid on board to fulfill his third wish, to use a taxi in New York without traffic. Done. Jensen and Laura talk about Jensen's new album. Laura comments that she hates it but loves it too. Laura also apologizes for slapping Jensen twice. Jensen nodded. He understands Laura's feelings. Then their conversation gets more serious. Jensen says he wants Laura to go on tour with him. Laura refuses. Jensen doesn't understand that she has her own life too. Jensen is confused. Now he commits for their relationship, then what he doesn't understand. Laura replies that she also has her own commitments in her work. It's not about Jensen anymore. Randy and Elise are still stuck in the elevator. They couldn't help but talk to kill some time. Elise asks why Randy didn't go anywhere on New Year's Eve. Randy bitterly replied that he hates it because a lot of amateur people will get drunk and go wild. Elise says that it's because they have something to be excited about, like what she has now. While hanging from the metal roof of the elevator, Randy thinks everyone makes wishes that they will later regret. Seeing Randy, Elise has an idea to try to get off through the roof. Randy lifts Elise up, from which he finds out that Elise is a huge fan. Elise looks offended. She immediately tells Randy to put her down. While Kim buys New Year things to marble, Haley comes to Seth and tells him that she is not be able to go with him since Kim doesn't allow her to. Seth tries to convincing Kim they don't have 12 years kids who must be taken care of. Yet Kim wants to call Seth's mom, so Seth gives up. Paul then took Ingrid to a seedy building. This makes Ingrid fear that Paul will do something bad to her. But when Paul opens the gate, it's a spa with a Bolognese theme. Ingrid is amazed. This spot is very Bolognese, but in Brooklyn. The nurse informs Griffin that Tess is not ready to give birth, even though Tess has been trying to swallow a raw anchovy. The nurse insisted she can't and eats the anchovy wouldn't work though. Tess even can't swallow that. Before long, the couple James and Grace arrive. They also want to check in. James tells Griffin and Tess that they can't steal a prize from him. That makes Griffin and Tess upset, but in the end, Jensen also gets the news that Grace is not ready to give birth like Tess. Haley keeps protesting Kim's decision. She suggests that Kim should go meet someone and tries to open up herself so Kim wouldn't mess with his plans. Kim persists in her stance, which makes Haley over her. Instead of take Sam to rental car, Harley takes him back to the village church. Harley says his cousin Edwin is also the priest who blessed Sam's friend this morning. Sam is going back to New York with Edwin and his family, who are going to the New York too. Amy checks on Stan and starts a conversation with him. Amy asks why he doesn't want medical treatment. Stan replies that there's no need to delay because it's the same for him. He just requests of her to make him survive at least until midnight. Kim knocks on Haley's door, but she doesn't find Haley inside. With her window wide open, Kim knew Haley had escaped. Kim chases Haley to the subway station as fast as she can. She meets up with Haley, but the busway has already been moving. Haley refuses to talk and to answer her call. Paul continually fulfills Ingrid's wishes with shortcuts, saving someone's life by taking care of a street dog. It's all cheating, but Ingrid is pleased. On 18.00 of Times Square's crowd, the ball will be raised up. Ryan hosted the event. The ball starts to shine and rises as soon as Claire presses the button. But halfway through, some of the lights broke and stuck at a quarter of the tower. Ryan is getting pressured, and of course Claire. Claire immediately asks the technicians to check the ball so that it can be raised again before midnight. On the way to New York on Edwin's big bus, Sam is again mistaken for a magician by Edwin's sons. They continue to bother Sam. Edwin's wife then takes him to talk about what Edwin's speech will be. But Edwin has no idea. He hasn't even written it down. Paul finally reaches Ingrid's seventh wish. Paul takes her to a museum so Ingrid can tour all 5 regions in one day. Done. Paul is so happy he only needs to fulfill 3 last wishes and he'll get tickets to the prestigious party. Paul immediately calls Randy about the party. He says he gets the tickets after fulfilling a deal from a pathetic woman. Ingrid doesn't like being pitied. Her happiness is gone, and her interest in doing the rest of her wishes is also gone. The technicians inform Claire that they are not sure they can fix the ball before midnight. Claire urges a solution because this important event can't fail. The engineers say they need Kaminsky to fix the ball. Griffin, who has just come home, finds Tess doing a strange yoga position. Tess says it will help make the birth go faster. Griffin buys her some castor oil that smells bad, but neither of them can swallow it. Suddenly, Tess felt her water break. Griffin panicked, almost leaving his wife alone. The couple couldn't find a taxi on a crowded New Year's Eve, so they used Plan B, going to the hospital by rickshaw. Randy apologizes for making fun of Elise because he was bored being stuck in the elevator. Elise agrees and starts playing assumptions about each other. She thought Randy's hatred of New Year's was because of the woman who broke his heart on New Year's Eve in high school. Randy seems entertained. He corrects that it is true that he was dumped, but when he was in college. Randy offers his coffee, indicating a truce between Randy and Elise. Sam begins to open up about the pizza tragedy at last year's party. When he snuck out to eat pizza because the speech was taking too long, it was there that he met a woman. An amazing woman that he can't forget. The Iron Records mass party gets more and more crowded as the night goes on, with celebrities arriving, camera lights welcoming at the entrance. Good music, food, and drinks. Rose Aaron, Sam's mother and the party organizer, gives a welcoming speech with her elegant red dress and her beloved poodle in her arms. In the elevator, Elise and Randy acquainted properly. Elise tells him that she's not a fan, but she's a backup singer. She had just gotten a contract, so she is excited because she has a change to go on tour as well. Randy eventually asks her to sing, but Elise doesn't have enough confidence for that. Elise doesn't even give Randy time to persuade her. Randy just laughs. Claire felt anxious, and all the people who had gathered to watch the ball were also anxious. The journalists were busy reporting about the ball that was still stuck. Brendan gets a report that his guest has arrived, Kaminsky. The awkward middle-aged man comes in carrying his equipment bag. Claire rushes over to Kaminsky, asking for an explanation about the broken ball. Kaminsky said the damage was among the 3,000 bulbs inside the ball. However, he must find the bulb. Claire clarifies, trying to calm everyone by stating that the ball stopping gives us space to reflect on what happened last year. Getting another chance is the substance of the new year. When the ball drops, we have to be good again for the whole year. Sam tells the rest of his story with the woman he met on New Year's Eve last year. Their conversation went well. They talked business. Then the woman asked, "So what about your heart?" But in the end, Sam was left behind. Sam only found a napkin. The woman wrote that if Sam still thought of her, he could meet her somewhere on the next New Year's Eve. Even so, Sam seems hesitant and scared. He's hesitant because he doesn't know her name, and he's scared when he finally meets her. All the incidents that brought Sam to meet that woman were serendipity. Paul is completing his business in the bathroom when his phone rings. It's Kim, his sister. Kim asks whether Haley contacted him or not. Paul knows Haley must have run off. Paul also advises Kim to go have fun when she's not working, not to worry too much about a good girl like Haley. Paul ends up telling Kim where Haley is as long as Kim is willing to help him. Paul comes up to Ingrid in the cafeteria, apologizing and begging her to come with him. Paul doesn't want to ruin their deal. Ingrid finds Paul's sincerity and decides to keep their deal on one condition: driving Paul's Vespa. Brendan praised the speech Claire had just given. Brendan knows that Claire just talked about her, that she could become a better person sooner, even before the change of year. Claire ought to have known that he had to go see her. The two couples competing for the prize arrive at the same time. The husbands scramble to register first, leaving their wives behind. Randy kept pushing Elise to sing while he spent his time drawing. Elise laughs and agrees to Randy's request. One of the employees asks for permission to take a short break to watch Jensen's performance. Laura says she won't watch and neglects her work just to gawk at Jensen's performance. Well, Ava will be gawking then. Jensen is starting to sing. Kaminsky is focusing on fixing his ball. Claire is waiting worriedly. Elise pushes her worries aside and starts singing. Sam puts the three Edwin children to bed. Stan struggles to survive. Tessu is also struggling. Kim, who is trying to find Haley. Laura, who is watching Jensen from a far distance. After Elise sang, Randy shows her the sketch. Elise then asks whether Randy has any other hobbies because she looks like a crazy person in the picture. Again, Randy laughs. Amy awakes to Stan's delirium. Amy tries to bring him to his senses. Apparently, Paul brings Ingrid to the studio where Kim works to make Ingrid amazed. Ingrid, another one wish done. Ingrid shouts in delight as her stiff body sways in the air. Randy and Elise are both sick of being stuck in the elevator for ages. Elise tries to create their own New Year's party by putting on an act. Pretends as they just meet at a party, attracted to each other, and start walking towards each other. Unfortunately, the elevator moves, interrupting the kiss they secretly hoped for. The elevator doors open. Elise has to hurry to Times Square to perform with Jensen. Randy wants to talk to her, but the timing isn't right. But Elise's lanyard, which she accidentally left in the elevator, provides the chance. Griffin keeps an eye on Gray's birth room. They seem calm. Tess is pissed that Griffin ignores her. She grabs her husband's shirt and swears at him. As Griffin is about to close the curtains on Tess' room, he sees James leaving Grace's room with his two children. Sam finally arrives in New York. He thanks Edwin and runs to the party. Haley, on the other hand, texts Seth that she will catch up with him soon. Finally, Ingrid's last wish list, watching the ball drop in Times Square. Paul drives Ingrid to Times Square. Ingrid gives him the masked party tickets, and they say goodbye. When Sam finally arrives at the party hall, he goes to greet his mother, Rose. Rose makes sure that Sam already knows what he's going to say during the speech. Sam says he already knows. Claire is getting restless. Jensen is missing and she is reprimanded by her boss about the stuck ball. When Elise is about to go on stage, Randy comes with her lanyard and their leftover kiss too. Claire finds Jensen looking sad. Claire asks him if there is anything she can do to help. Jensen tells her that he lost his second chance. Claire admits that she is in the same situation. Then Claire suggests that maybe Jensen can get his woman by prioritizing and not pressuring her. Claire makes Jensen better. He thanks her and will take the chance before midnight. Sam starts his speech reminiscing about his beloved late father, which touches Rose's heart. For her, before this night ends, it's okay to listen to your heart even if it's too risky. Take that leap of faith. Kaminsky fixed the ball glowed again and was able to climb to the top of the tower. Claire gives Kaminsky the trust to lead the ball drop at midnight because she needs to go take care of something. Brandon offers his employee, Nolan, to drive Claire, but Claire refuses because Nolan has been assigned to go pick up Brandon's family. Laura finds out where Rose got her catering recommendation from. It's Jensen. He even threatened not to perform if Rose didn't hire a catering service from Laura. Sam chose to meet the woman he met last year rather than sleep with the bartender of the two women who approached him that night. 11:45 p.m. Sam and Claire ran to their hearts to fill the opportunity before it expired. Amy woke Stan up saying that someone comes to see him. It's Claire, his daughter. Stan looks disbelieving. He asks if it's too late to watch the ball drops. Claire replies, no, they're not late. While the nurses are busy, Claire sneaks in with Stan in his wheelchair into the elevator. After her work was done, Amy quickly changes into a pink dress. She looks hot, but one of her coworkers called her, telling her that Stan has disappeared from his room. Amy replies that she doesn't need to worry. Claire takes Stan to the rooftop to watch the ball drop. Then Stan starts reminiscing about the time when they watched the ball drop together. When he carried Claire on his shoulders. Amy locks the room, turns off the lights, and logs on the computer to call her boyfriend. Emmy spins around to show the dress she is wearing to her army boyfriend who works far away. With limited communication and time, Emmy misses him terribly and hopes that his return can be a New Year's gift to her. Laura, who decided to spend her time in the kitchen, was surprised to hear Jensen coming after her. Jensen informs her that he decides to cancel his tour to make things up to Laura, even if it takes him years to be forgiven. Laura is really surprised by Jensen's decision, but finally Jensen understands what she wants. Hosted by Ryan Seacrest and Mayor Bloomberg, within a minute the ball drop. 1 minute to the turn of the year. Stan throws off his beanie to enjoy the New York's win that he'll never be able to enjoy again. Stan says that he has many mistakes except Claire. Claire stares with watery eyes at Stan. 10 seconds to the turn of the year. Haley tries to find Seth and his friends. On the other hand, Kim tries to find Haley in the crowd. Sam runs to listen to his heart, meets his woman. Claire and Stan watch the ball drop for the last time. Jensen and Laura spend New Year's Eve together. Tess and Griffin fight to give birth to their first baby. Happy New Year. Laura just realizes that Jensen shouldn't be with her. He should be performing in Times Square. It turns out that Elise replaces Jensen's performance. For the first time, she sings in front of hundreds of people. The second time is in front of Randy. Haley finds Seth kissing another friend. Her feelings shattered, she turns around and finds Kim behind her. Kim hugs her and takes her away from there. Tess was successful in giving birth smoothly. Emmy and her boyfriend separate again. Sam reaches the place the woman promised, but he finds no one. Paul back to Ingrid, not letting her enjoy New Year alone among the crowds of Times Square. Paul fulfills Ingrid's last wish list. Midnight kiss on New Year's Eve. Done. Haley apologizes to Kim for running away from home. Her friends ask her to go to a party together and Kim allows it. Sam still waits for his woman at the venue. Kim goes back to her workplace to put on her dress. Seth tries to explain the misunderstanding. Haley kisses him. They make up. Stan left Claire forever. The nurse tries to cheer her up by taking her to see the babies born on New Year. James asks Griffin when his baby was born. Griffin replies 00.05, 1 minute apart from James' baby. Indirectly, Griffin gives the prize to James, who needs his money more than he does. When everyone has returned to their homes, the cleaners get to work. The woman Sam waits for doesn't show up either. Sam is about to give up, but a wagon catches his eye. Sam knows who it is, the woman he's been waiting for all year. It is Kim in her beautiful silver dress.